All right. Hey everyone, it's me, Sean, and today I'm going to present to you my Meetup project. So here we go, and I hope you enjoy it. So, right here, this is the Meetup project that I decided to do AI for Enterprise Virtual User Group. And here you can see the URL uh, to the Meetup group that I went to. And here's a screenshot um, of some of the people that I've met because some of them had their cameras off, but these were the three that I seen that had their cameras off. So the guy on the left, he was one of the hosts for the group, and on the right, well, this is just one of the members, but the one in the middle is the guy that is the main speaker of this group, which we'll get into later. So the event that I went to is the Introduction to Machine and Deep Learning with Java. And the event launched on Zoom on Tuesday, the 29th of September from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 12 p.m. in Jacksonville, Florida. So, so this guy in the picture, his name is Ayao Rosansky, basically the only speaker in that event. But what he does is he's a software developer for Java and Python, and he runs this lead in Jacksonville, Florida called Jack's Jug, which is basically a group that's made up of developers and tech enthusiasts. And in that group, they talk about current trends and technology that's going to emerge soon, and they brainstorm about it. He's also a genetic algorithm specialist, an author, and an AI ML enthusiast, mentor, and consultant. So, as you can see here, he's built up a pretty good resume. So, first of all, we pretty much introduced ourselves. Um, if we have any background in programming language, what jobs they do, uh, where we're from, and why we're here. And then after that, we started getting into what machine and deep learning is. And he defines machine learning as, quote, a field of computer science that gives computers ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. And after that, he tells us three different types of machine learning: supervised machine learning, unsupervised machine learning, and reinforcement machine learning. Unfortunately, he only went over the supervised uh, machine learning due to lack of time. But in the meantime, he introduces this machine learning app called Tribio, which is written in Java and is described as easy and simple to use. And he also goes on about artificial neural network and genetic algorithms, which we'll get into more into that later. So basically, he defines supervised learning as we take the inputs into the program, and he specified it as a model and generates the output based on the inputs. So the algorithm has internal parameters and it's tuned and changed according to the data. And how the parameter is used is that we have a data set where we know what the output should be for the data. In other words, we already know what the correct output is. And so basically, you enter some input and the model will look at it, as well as the output that's generated, and the parameters will keep changing until the model recognizes the input is good enough to reproduce that same output. And here he mentions that it's very useful because it reduces the error between desired and actual output. So not only you're reducing error, but you're also increasing accuracy as well. And so now we take you to artificial neural network. which is defined as computing systems inspired by the biological neural networks constituting animal brains. And in that network, we have several units called neurons, and these neurons have multiple inputs, and even though they only have a single output, they are interconnected with each other. And so deep learning it's one example of what an artificial neural network, and it's got multiple hidden layers between the input and output layers. Then genetic algorithms. He defines it as a family of search algorithms, and it's inspired by the principles of Darwinism, which is to say creating a new generation of solutions along the way. High quality solutions can be produced by using optimization and learning. And why genetic algorithms is so useful is that it can overcome hurdles uh, that's encountered by just using traditional algorithms. So again, I met this speaker. His name is Aya Winsinski, and I asked him what got you interested in machine learning, and he said he was fascinated with things that were unconventional and abundant at the time, like genetic algorithms and neural networks. And most people were turned off by it because he says that they didn't want to be seen as a weirdo, and so that just made him more interested to learning about those subjects. And he also added that neural network was interesting to him because you can imitate the human brain, or as it's generally known, the biological nervous system. One thing that he also mentioned that we didn't really talk during the meeting was fuzzy logic. So it's basically you having values between 0 and 1 instead of just zeros and ones. And so looking back at the meetup, I would say that I thought it was pretty nice to meet up with different people from all over the world, like Cape Town, from Netherlands, from Jacksonville, or even to San Francisco, because they have similar jobs to what I'm pursuing, be it, I don't know, a software engineer, software developer. And I was interested to see that most of the language that they're using are Java and Python. I don't believe they mentioned Java and C++, but they definitely for sure they say Java and Python. And what's also interesting about this topic was that I've never learned or even heard about machine learning until I went to that meeting. So it was a really good eye opening for me. And so now we take you to the CSU East Bay IEEE Pioneer Branch. I went to the first meeting, which was held August 27th. It's basically talking about the direction of the club and, talking about like promoting club events in the near future, like hacking competition. And like, if you want to join in these events, you have to become a member and you have to pay a fee for it. I believe they said it was about $32 to $35, I believe. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you do have to pay for it. And other than that, we also talk some like miscellaneous topics like merchants. And here, next screen here, this is pretty much an outline of what we were talking about. Very use. I think it's very useful that they sent it out to all the people that came to the club, so as to see what we were gonna talk about throughout the duration of the period. So now, Stack Overflow. So one of the questions that I was going for was that since I'm recently taking data structures, which or CS 301, I decided to go and look for a question about binary trees, and this is what I found. The difference between binary tree and binary search tree. So basically, what it is binary trees have two leaves, one children and one parent. The children's on the bottom and the parents on the top, and there can be no more than two. And there's one child node on the left and one on the right. So basically, the one on the left has a value less than the one that's on the parent node, while the node on the right has a greater value than the parent node. And so, the the main difference you can see is that binary search tree has the ability to search, and they have algorithms to do so, which is DFS, which is depth first search, and BFS, which is breadth first search. And basically, what the purpose is to do is to transverse and search tree and graph data. And finally, we have GitHub.com. So it's basically a website where you can write and review content from others. You can import source code, to have a review to look at. You can search for information. You can create your own projects and collaborate as well. You can make repositories, which is basically the folder where you put your projects in, and you can be shown as either public or private. And the best part about it is that you don't need to learn how to code to use it. There's a bunch of tutorials on the website. It's very easy and very simple to learn. And so with that, I'll have to say thank you so much for watching, and thank you. Goodbye.